Pre-Utopian Chronicles Into the Microverse. Episode 1. A New Age of Utopia begins. Long after the fall of the Universal Empire, the King of Anjosika began to rule the universe as he saw fit. He led the Madonians to their core function and provide aid to all in the universe and the dimensions, thus ending all sickness and disease from the universe. He also led the Kichuru to fulfill their role as the feeders and suppliers of the universe and the dimensions. Thus hunger was no more in the universe. One of the chief leaders of Anjosika and head of the Chaldean galaxy, Angelo, helped to fund these efforts and supported in the transport of supplies. Angelo was also a distant relative of the king. The age of war had ended, and all peoples, races, species rejoiced for the Anjosican king and his government. Only the government and its closest allies had armies, and this helped to prevent anyone from having grand plans of ambition from anywhere else. These other armies, which were allied to the Anjosican Empire, included the Slidia, the Baha, the Chaldean, the Sapina, and the Zephyr. All but two of these galactic powers were of the rebirth galaxies. In fact, the late Madonian king brought back after the Furbin were defeated. The king had several holidays to commemorate the success of his rule and to remember the fallen who died to get them this far. Such holidays included Angel's Legion's Day, which was a day to honor the king and all of his past selves for their selflessness, sacrifice for all people throughout the ages. Despite this, having good friends and all allies and loyal retainers, the king was still lacking in one thing: a family. In all of his many lives, he always had a wife and child. In one life, he had a whole multiple generations that he stood side by side with in order to defeat the ultimate evil. But this time was different. This was the original universe. Those tales happened in the third universe. So the same people from then would be out of reach now. So King Naflor set out to find a bride, but doing it low key, of course, because every woman in the universe would want to be with him. However, he wanted to find the right one to make his own, Queen of Anjosika. In order to do this, he hired his two closest hands, Evon and Mary and Jenna, to help him in this task. During one of the annual budget debates in Nassau province, on planet Utopia, which was the capital planet of the Anjosican galaxy, which was the headquarters of the empire, a female government official rose up to prominence. She was a classy and very elegant lady. She came from humble beginnings. During the time of the war, she helped govern and kept the peace in a distant country on the planet when the Floor and his forces were stuck in the Slidia galaxy. She was known as Alina Richie. She caught the attention of Jenna, who sat in the proceedings of the debate that day. She then alerted Avion about her, and he sent for a background check on her. Jenna and Avon then told the king their findings. The king was delighted and set out in the next Andrew Leden's Day, which is on the 10th day of the 10th month. 10 is his favorite number, to meet Alina Richie during the banquet at the Golden City Castle Hall. During the banquet, all of the military and civic leaders of the empire were all there, drinking, eating, and being merry. The king took a chance to meet the lady. She was standing alone on one of the outside balconies. The king came to her in a very charming and gentlemanlike way. Alina was at awe at his charms. He told her that he had heard of her past accomplishments and was impressed by her policies, which helped to eliminate poverty in her country. The king of Anjosaka then told her that he wanted to work closely with her to eliminate poverty in the entire universe and dimensions. Alina was overjoyed and said yes immediately, not because it was coming from the king, but because it was her long sought out dream to make a positive change in the universe. Sometime later, Alina Richie and the king of Anjosaka worked together with the bankrupt heads Lord Molo and Kerry to end all poverty in the known universe and dimensions. The king took his time to get to know Alina more, and sooner or later the two of them would fall in love and get married. At last, King Naflor had found his queen. Now the road for the next generation was about to be made clear, as they would be pregnant with a child. All of these events happened within the first 7 years of LaFleur's rule.